Hi, this is Lorraine with Chat and Craft with Lorraine Tierney, and I thought I would jump on today and do a little bit of fun stuff with the Gilded Leafing flakes. I think that's what they're called, Gilded Leafing. So they come in this lovely container, and there's something new from the new mini catalog from Stampin' Up. So I haven't done too much with them, but I thought I would show you what it is that you can do with them. So they, let's see, I'm going to open them up, and they grow when you open them up. I did play with them just a little bit. You can see I have a little bit here in this container. They're very, very thin. They feel like nothing in between your fingers. And when you take them out of this container, they say there's really no putting them back in, that they're just going to grow on you. So I'll clean the rest of that container out later. There is some still in there, but we'll keep them in this bin, and I'm going to move them aside for now. So you have to stick them to something. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to stick them to things. So first I'm going to make an ice cream cone, and we can put some fun gilded leafing on both our cone and as sprinkles on our ice cream. So this is a little template that I made. I punched this out with the punch so that I can stamp right in here, and things will line up, and when it's time to punch them out with the punch, they'll fit. So I'm going to do the cone over here, and I'll do that in cinnamon cider. Okay, and I'm going to try to get that right in there. There we go. And I'm going to do the ice cream in Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to stamp it off once, if I remember. Stamp it off once. And then put it right in there. Okay, not the best fit in there, but that's all right. And I'm going to put some sprinkles on it. That's also Blackberry Bliss. There we go. And you just get those out of the way. Now you have to have some way to make that gilded leafing stick to something. So one of the things you can use is this multi-purpose Tombow glue. So let me get my template out of the way here. I'll just save that. Okay, I'm going to put some little bits of the Tombow glue on those sprinkles, because I think they'd be pretty cool if they were in gold. Okay, but the glue, the Tombow is too wet right now. I'm also going to make some of those crosshatch marks. I thought I was going to make some of those crosshatch marks. Where's my glue? Okay. On my ice cream cone. So you can let Tombow dry and turn clear, and then it's still sticky and things will stick to it, but it won't smudge or move. So I'm going to set this aside. While we do a couple of other techniques, we're going to let this dry, and then we'll come back to it. Make sure you shout at me if I forget. Okay, so here's a card that I just made a few minutes ago with the gold leafing. So I love the sentiment, "You are so special." So I thought if I had 3 feathers in the Misty Moonlight and 1 in gold, that would go really well with "You are so special." So I'll show you how we made that. For that one, I'm going to use Heat and Stick powder. Sorry, there's something sticky on my mat and I keep moving it. heat and stick powder is kind of like an embossing powder. You heat it up, but it doesn't turn to a glaze, it turns sticky. So we're going to use some Versamark with that, and we're going to use some regular ink. So I'm going to stamp and get good coverage there. All right, I'm going to stamp some feathers. 1, 2. Now I'm going to leave a space and do my last one. And clean that off real quick. Yeah, it's got a little more ink on it. There we go. And then we'll ink it up with Versamark. And the heat and stick powder does come with directions if you forget how to use it. I'm going to put that one right in there. Okay, and now you can see there's some sticky ink on that. I am going to put some of this heat and stick powder on it. And then put the extra back in. Okay, what doesn't go in easily, I can tap back in off of my coffee filter. And do remember to put the cap on before you turn your heat gun on. And so now I'm going to heat this up. It does not take long to melt. You might be able to see it a little bit. It turns kind of shiny and it gets a little bit of a sticky look to it. There you go. So that's all it took. It's faster than the heat embossing. So now I can either dunk this right in here, or I can just take some. It really feels like you're not holding anything. It's crazy. And I'm just kind of tapping it right onto that heat and stick powder. And then I have, you know, the sponges that you can get. I cut off a piece of a sponge, and I'll keep this in here with it. And you just gently rub the sponge over it, and it will take your stuff off. Let's see, it seemed to, maybe I rubbed a little too much off there. It's sticking to my sponge too. Whoa, don't drop your sponge in everything. There you go. There, and that is on there. Now the directions say you can heat that again and set it. I don't want to make the noise of heating it up again. But I also have seen Shelley and Sarah Douglas use this, and they did not heat it again. So I'm not sure you have to. Hi, Sharon. I'm so glad you could join us. So that's how I made that card. And then I would just put it together. It's so pretty. I hope you can see how sparkly it is. I have some extras. I need to get a little paintbrush and just flick those off. But I would put the card together like that, and that would be a pretty card. Now there's another way you can use it that is pretty easy, and that is with glue dots. Yeah, glue dots. So basically you just need some way. Hi, Julie. How is it out in Ohio today? It's gray and cold here in New Hampshire. basically you need some way to make that heat and stick. So I'm going to try to get some glue dots down on this piece of paper, like a red border. I figure I could put this on a Valentine. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool to try to lift the glue dots up and get them back on the paper without distorting their shape too much. So I have 4 of them there. I think this stuff is going to be really, really fun to play with. I think we're all going to love it. Wow. This one is not, oh, I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to give this one up for the team because I stretched it out. Okay. There we go. And I think I'll put one more. I keep a little ribbon around my, it's loosely tied around my glue dots, and that just keeps it from unrolling way more than I want it to. And then I just rip that paper off when it gets too long. Okay, there we go. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots on here. 40 degrees. Oh, the sun wants to come out, huh? I guess 40 degrees is not too bad for January. We can be thankful for that. All right. So now I'm just going to put some of this leafing. Oh, it's so soft and silky. I wish I could let you feel it. I could pass this around. If we were crafting in my studio today, I'd have you all feeling this and enjoying trying to put some on these glue dots because it is just so soft. It's like, I don't know, it's like silk, spun silk. Okay, so I'm just pushing it onto those glue dots. And now my sponge is in here someplace. And I'll just use my sponge to get it back off. And these stray pieces will just scrape off with my fingernail. And any place that I missed getting it into the glue dot, I can go back and put another piece on. It's so cool. So cool to feel this. Okay. And let's try to, whoops, wrong sponge. Get that off again. It might be easier to use dabs of glue, but I thought I could keep the glue dots in a better shape so that it could just have a little bit of dots on the paper, but they're really, really pretty. And that could be used on a card, so that's another way. As I move this, I have to put the cover on because it's all starting to fly. I have little pieces of gold flying. So let's check the ice cream cone. That is not quite clear yet. You can still see it's still kind of white. I'm going to try to heat it up a little bit, maybe from the underneath. I don't want to make it too bubbly, but maybe I can dry that glue out a little. I didn't realize it would take so long to dry. Let's see. You have to start this part a day before, I guess. Some of those sprinkles are not gonna dry. I'll go underneath again. All right, well, let's see what happens. This is an experiment. I did not try this ahead of time, which is probably not a good idea, but so instead I don't want to squish those pockets of glue, so I'm just going to put it right in like this and see what sticks to that very lightly. Okay. So this Gilded Leafing is available in our new catalog, the mini catalog. If you need one, let me know. I'd be happy to get one into your hands. Just message me your address. Where's my little take your pick tool? Let me see if I can lift it up. Right there. There we go. Okay. Put the cover on this, and then I'm going to punch this out with my punch. So you can see now things line up right where they're supposed to be. I didn't do such a great job on my ice cream cone piece. I wasn't lined up in the template very well, but you could see you could make an ice cream cone for a card that has a little bit of gold accent on it. So it's really fun, pretty way to accent things. You can do it with the heat and stick powder. That gives you a really nice, nice consistent coverage, and you get it in the shape of whatever stamp you want. That's the advantage of that. This is done with a little bit of the liquid glue and letting it dry and then sticking it on there. And then we have our red piece of paper that I've lost. Oh, it's stuck to my container. And that one we have with the glue dots. You can also use your tear and tape and make stripes on something with the tear and tape. So there's a lot of different ways you can use that Gilded Leafing. I think I like it on the stamps the best myself so far, but I think this will be pretty on a card. I needed to do a little better job stamping with that ice cream, but I can always do another ice cream cone. But I hope you'll give it a try and look at it in the catalog, and if there's anything I can help you get so that you can make some cards at home and you can enjoy sending them to people and making them happy, please let me know. And if you'd like to share this video, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great night.